Okay, so if you look at this picture here, this going out is the pulmonary trunk, and then it goes into like back here are your pulmonary arteries. So if you see these holes right here, those are your pulmonary arteries, and you can always find that by just following where the trunk is. So that's this part right here. If you look here, you have your aortic arch and then the three extensions off of it, and you can see that pretty well right here. 1, 2, 3, and that's the aortic arch. So to orient this, usually you have your apex facing, it's like it points a little bit to the left, so when you open it, it looks like this. Okay, so this is going to be your right side, and this is going to be your left side. Your interventricular septum is just the muscle in between the two ventricles, so interventricular septum. Up here, if you can see like that kind of design type tissue up there, and it's on both sides, those are the atria. So this little flap thing is the right atrium, and then this little flap is the left atrium. So here's the right ventricle, and then here's the left ventricle. And if you look, come closer. If you can see, there's actually 3 cusps to the valve here. So like here's one, and here's another one, and then on the side, this is another one. So that's why it's called the tricuspid. And then the bicuspid by default is on this other side because there's 2 cusps. But don't worry about those names. Just know that it's atrioventricular valve, and it's the right side, and then the left atrioventricular valve. So those names are easier to remember anyways. Okay, so let's see. Let's follow the flow of the heart. Okay, so it comes into the right atrium from where? Does anyone know? Right, so the vena cava dump in. So that's actually this hole right here. So if see that like structure right there, that's the vena cava. So that returns blood from the head and like all the upper limbs and extremities. And then there would be an inferior vena cava. If it didn't get lopped off, that would be going down. So it's actually like this big vessel behind the heart. So anyways, that goes into the right atrium, flows through the right atrioventricular valves into the right ventricle, and then from there it flows out of the pulmonary trunk. So if you see this hole right here, if you stick your finger through it, okay, now I'm in the pulmonary trunk. So right atrium, right ventricle, through the pulmonary trunk, through the pulmonary arteries, which if you flip it, they're actually kind of smushed, but they're on the side. So it goes through the pulmonary arteries, goes to the heart, picks up oxygen. So now it has oxygen. It comes back to the heart. And then it comes back, and then it'll go through the, so it leaves through the pulmonary arteries, comes back in through the pulmonary veins, goes through the left atrium, through the bicuspid. So see right here, 1 cusp, 2 cusp, through the left atrium to the left ventricle, and then back out through the aorta. So like here's like the ventricle right here, and if you follow my finger, now I'm in the aorta. Does that make sense? So now the blood's going to go up out of the aorta to the rest of the body and give oxygen to all the tissues. Okay? And then after it gives all the tissues the oxygen it needs, it just comes back through the vena cava to pick up some more oxygen again. Okay? That's it.